What the hell is up, and welcome back to another episode of Dave and Confused, number 19. What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to episode 19 of Dave and Confused. Welcome back into the mass confusion. It's been a while since the last episode. A lot has changed since then. I am now 100% a completely different person. My life has been dedicated to acquiring assets. And you know the assets I'm talking about, the big money ones. Crypto and Pokemon cards. It's been, I think 2 or 3 months since the last episode. Apologies, I haven't been putting any out because I have been locking myself in a chamber and teaching myself everything there is to know about cryptocurrencies and the flaming hot market of Pokemon cards. I feel like I'm kind of in like a time machine tug of war. On one end, I'm dealing with certain subjects that are going to be coming to the mainstream attention in about 2050. And on the other hand, it's like I'm 8 years old again, going to Target, begging my mom to buy me a booster pack of just fossil cards that probably won't even give me any good cards to begin with. But I still have my old Pokemon card collection. I just acquired some new editions. The market's hot, what can you say? And Bitcoin, I mean, if you don't know it's skyrocketing, why even listen to this podcast? The crazy thing is, the more I try to educate myself about cryptocurrency, I think the less I understand. Just a bunch of tech guys, Silicon Valley guys that I'm trying to learn from through podcasts, and I don't really understand a lot of it, but it just helps make me think that I will sound smart when I repeat it. So we got that in the hopper. We're working on that 2021, looking to get rich, mainly through Pokemon cards. The Cori virus is dwindling. They're shooting out the vaccines. A couple of recalls. It's par for the course. Not everyone's going to have a good reaction. You just hope it's not going to be you. I forgot to mention, this episode is sponsored by a small mom and pop shop in Reedley, Vibes Footwear. Thank you to Vibes Footwear. It's one of my favorite stores because that is the epitome of millennial culture, TikTok culture in 2021. Whatever your store is, you just put vibes in front of it, and like young people will go there. Vibes frozen yogurt. Vibes camping accessories. Vibes smelling salts. Put vibes in front of it, it's automatically cool. You got about a year and a half shelf life on that until you got to switch it to something hip, like Chuji. Everyone's jumping on the crypto train. Little update. NBA Top Shot is probably the most prominent NFT, I guess, marketplace. Even though people sometimes don't even understand that they're buying NFTs. But the NFL is starting to jump in. You got Gronk. I think he released like 69 NFTs. Trevor Lawrence just did a deal with Adidas and I think some cryptocurrency. I forgot which one it was, but it's becoming mainstream. More and more NFL players are starting to get their salary in Bitcoin. It's only a matter of time, people. I'm late on the train, but there's still time. couple more pluses. It's getting hot outside, you know what that means. It's grilling season. Got my Traeger, grilling up some all beef vitamins for my carnivore diet. Really gonna try to push for the carnivore diet. I've been cheating lately, so sue me. NCAA football is coming back, the greatest football game known to mankind. I mean, that is something that I have admittedly spent probably a quarter of my life on, doing online Dynasty with my friends. Excited for that to come back. Forgot to mention, this is Cinco de Mayo. I've been listening to Bad Bunny and J Balvin all day. My new favorite artists. I love reggaeton. I got suckered into an algorithm on YouTube where I clicked on the Drake Bad Bunny music video, and then it was just history from there. I love Latin fusion, Latin pop. I love mariachi music, but this is another step above that. It all coincides with my grandmaster plan of learning Spanish through Latin pop artists. So thank you to Bad Bunny. Feliz cumpleaños. Happy May 5th. You can probably hear I got the Champions League on in the back. Trying to get into soccer whenever I can. It's just really hard for me to follow. Maybe I just got to start betting on the games. I don't know, but I want to get back into it. R.I.P. to Tom Flores. I spent a lot of time in Sanger, driving around. Tom Flores died since the last episode, so shout out to him. I like how Coors Light just piggybacked on trying to get him in the Hall of Fame. Actually, I don't think he died. I think he just made the Hall of Fame. My bad. That's on me. I'll double check that right now. More great news for if you're in the Florida or the Fresno area. Raising Cane's is coming to a new location in River Park. Okay, I think Tom Flores is still alive. Still alive, just made the Hall of Fame. My bad. Hand up on that one. Raising Cane's is coming to River Park. Raising Cane's was eye-opening for me when I went to go visit my buddy Ron in Dallas in my early 20s. It's going to take Fresno by storm. I think the only thing comparable is Popeyes, and I like Raising Cane's a lot better, so very pumped for that. Cinco de Mayo, circling back for a third time. It's also my 2-year comedy anniversary, if I didn't mention that already. So, coronavirus pandemic kind of put things on hold. I think live shows are starting back up. My schedule is tough right now, but I'm going to loop some deals, get weekends and evenings off, get back out there, let you guys know what the show schedule is going to be like. I'm going to hit up my Uncle Lou, see if we can get Fieldhouse Show popping again. I think I've been saying that every episode, but I think it's actually viable this time. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. I think I might be cursed. I've been driving around, and I've been keeping a tally. There have been 4 dust devils that have appeared like very close to me as I'm driving, and a couple I've like driven through, which is the worst feeling on earth, because like you feel like you're driving through some kind of black magic voodoo, and you're just somehow gonna get like some kind of bad luck from it somehow. But I thought it was bad. It was like 3 in a row, and then the 4th one literally appeared, and like it got created like under my 2 feet. So like the vortex started like between my feet and just fucking shot off my body. And at that point, I'm just like, fuck this. I need to just stay inside for a while. So I might be cursed. Prior to this happening, I was encountering a lot of black cats as I was driving. So let's turn it up a level a little bit. Someone may have put a voodoo hex on me. We'll just have to figure it out. Time will tell. I did see something. I like to keep in touch with the younger culture. I like to keep tabs on hype beasts, younger kids that spend an insane amount of money on items of clothing that are fashionable, and sometimes they flip them and make some money. But there's this guy named Ass Pizza who is pretty progressive in his thoughts. He's kind of like a hippie rebel that makes his own clothes. He has like warehouses, and he gets a bunch of clothes and then cuts them up and makes like Frankenstein creations. But he's pretty well known in the streetwear game. I don't really know anything about it, but I just once again got hooked into an algorithm. And what he does is he'll do these drops where like these hypebeast kids will show up in LA and like basically try to suck his D for his clothing. But this latest one, he like sent out this tweet or something where he said there's like these exclusive shirts that are like, there's only 3 of them, and the first person to bring their grandmother to the pop-up shop was going to get one of the shirts. And this is how you know the world's coming to an end. The kid shows up with an old woman. The old woman's sipping a tall boy in a brown bag. So she's brown bagging it. It's all these hype beasts outside of a pop store, like, oh, the grandma's here, huh? And then Ass Pizza, the ringleader of the circus, walks up to him and is like, what's your last name? Because he wanted to make sure it was the real grandma. Smart, right? And he's like, whisper it in my ear. And the guy just said it out loud, like blurted it, like Flores or something. So obviously it wasn't his grandma. And then everyone's like, oh, Cap, that's Cap. Oh, that's Cap. And it started getting on this guy's case. And the guy obviously started freaking out. Like, we're coming to a point in society where teenagers are like shoulder tapping old women, not to buy them beers, not to get the old woman to buy them beers, but I will buy you a tall can if you just come to the store with me so I can get this exclusive merch. When I start dropping my merch, hopefully we have a similar situation, except I'm not going to say bring your grandma. I'm going to say bring me proof that you helped adopt a homeless dog or foster a dog for 3 months and make sure it's in a new home. You know, make sure you actually earn the exclusive merch if you complete the task. So interesting things to think about. We start pumping out merch. And now we're getting to the headliner of today's action. Billy G, most eligible bachelor. Bill Gates getting a divorce. Him and Jeff Bezos, the Bash Bros, basically just taking over third world countries and just kicking ass, taking names. Doesn't have enough time for his wife anymore. Got a divorce. Tim Dillon had a very funny tweet about this, that they're splitting the patent for malaria. Bill Gates just loves those patents. He's gonna be buried with them. That's how much he loves them. Billy G, most eligible bachelor. As the smoke is clearing, there was something that washed up on shore, and it was the fact that Bill Gates, I'm going to read this article. Bill Gates had a deal with his now ex-wife that he would marry her if he was allowed to take one beach vacation a year with his ex-girlfriend. So that sly dog Billy G basically said, yeah, you can marry me if I get my one weekend with my ex. Like, can you imagine that conversation? Obviously, he's worth billions of dollars at that point, or millions, but like, hey, I'm going to need one weekend a year to go to North Carolina. And what does it say they're doing? They do a bunch of nerd shit. They, like, do a bunch of studying, quote-unquote studying. Yeah, it says they bring 1,000-page textbooks of molecular biology, and they study it together. And, like, can you imagine that conversation? Like, hey, I'm going to need one weekend, and his now ex-wife was probably just like, obviously in her mind, like, yes, I don't give a hell. But she's probably like, what? Like, why, you want to have sex with her? And he's just probably laughing, like, like, that's nonsense. I have an army of sex robots that I have at the factory. This is just so I can play some grab ass on the beach in North Carolina and do some studying. Like, it's just so weird in this interview because it says, like, oh, we're trying to, like, break the world record for playing, like, tetherball or some shit. Yeah, they do a bunch of weird shit, and putt-putt, that's what it is. They're trying to break the record of putt-putt games in a 2-hour span, which is, like, maybe some weird kinky code name for, like, trying to, like, have sex. But in this case, I don't think so. This is the one case where it's like Billy G is probably really nerding out with this woman. I mean, this is just so weird. Like, you can't just do this on a Zoom call, Bill. I mean, it's on par for the course. Billy G obviously has some demons. We don't need to go into that in this podcast, but, like, can you imagine if you are the ex-girlfriend who meets him once a year, and then you go off and you, like, have your life, you split off, you go, I think she like is dating some actor's brother or something, it said. Can you imagine, like, okay, hey, starts dating someone new. So, by the way, October 7th weekend, I'm gonna need to go on this trip. Yeah, I'm gonna need to do that every year. Or she just doesn't tell him and just makes it up every year. He's like, after the 4th year, he's just like, oh, it's weird. Like, you have to leave. You always go out of town this weekend. And she just drops a duffel bag of, like, money just right in his face, and he just never asks about it again. Billy G. Money is... You really try to get money to buy him happiness. Now on to everyone's favorite segment. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. That was really bad. I'm going to do this the right way. Season 2 of the pod. I'm going to try to get some freaking sound effects in this bitch. This is what I want. Let's see it. Tales from the Road. This Tales from the Road segment is going to be chock full of crazy madness because we haven't had it in a while. A couple months ago, before the vax was even pumped out, I'm going in this hostile environment because it's this apartment complex, and all of a sudden, there's just freaking bubbles everywhere. and I just have to freaking dodge it like a laser beam freaking obstacle course. So I'm thinking this is the worst possible time to blow bubbles is a pandemic. Like every single one of those bubbles has COVID in it. So if it just pops on you, you instantly just fucking die. So dodging the COVID bubbles. I did see something that I wish I didn't. A lot of homeless activity in the west side. There was this guy who was kind of walking towards the road, grabbed a handful of sand and just started rubbing it, putting it all in his pants or rubbing his fucking asshole with it. And that's just another day in the life out there. It's just fucking mad survival. And then you go to like the north side. I was like on Palm or something. And you go from the other end of the spectrum to a guy having probably the best day of his life. I'm driving by this Acura dealership, and this guy, it's like the Step Brothers scene where Will Ferrell like gets the toilet paper and like steps out of the supermarket and like holds it up. Except this guy like steps out and he just fucking This guy does a Tiger Woods pump in front of an Acura dealership. I mean, he probably just signed the papers on like a TRX lease or something, but congrats to that guy. He was like cloud nine. I've been getting tips through cash usually, but sometimes online people will Venmo me stuff. But I never had this happen to me. This woman gives me a stack of ones, and it's kind of damp. She's like, sorry, it's kind of wet. It's fresh out of the washer. Look, there's detergent on it. Look, smell it. Go ahead, smell it. And I just look at her. I'm just like, I already had a couple of Tide Pods for a snack. I can't have any more. So I just grabbed it and just tried to air it out. You know? I'll take money with fucking blood all over it. I don't give a shit. Just make sure it doesn't have coronavirus in it. And this one I might make a Twitter poll. We'll end on this. I had a guy who's in Clovis, and he like is on my ass, and he's like honking and shit. So like I'm pulling over anyway, and he pulls to the side of me, and it's this old guy, and he goes, "Hey, you have a tail light out." I'm just like, oh, okay. But he like made me like pull over off the side of the road, acting like something was on fire. Like, is that guy a good Samaritan or is he an asshole? On one hand, I appreciate it. On the other hand, it's like, don't fucking tell me what to do. Mind your own business. I'll find out my own way. When the cop pulls me over. We're going to end it. Sometimes when I walk up to a person's house, just their screen doors open, it's nice outside, and I walk up and I see this guy, and he just has like jeans on, and he's like an old Mr. Miyagi, and he's just like doing fucking karate, like hardcore, and I knock on the door and he still doesn't stop, so I'm waiting there for a couple of minutes, and then he comes out, still like no shirt or anything, just drenched in sweat. And he like, I thought he was gonna invite me to join him, but you just never know what you're gonna find out there. So head on a swivel. It's good to be back. We're gonna get these live shows popping. Tune in. We're gonna be releasing these once a week. And when football season comes around, we'll get the betting show back up, Cash Ball. But we're excited, 2021, back in action, getting the live shows up and popping. Until next time, peace.